This lesson is Hands-on Equations, Lesson 4. In yesterday's lesson, we learned that if we take the same number of variables, or x's, from both sides, then it creates an equation that is much simpler to solve than the original equation was. Before we get started in this lesson, let's go ahead and review or look at what our learning objectives are. Today, you will learn a new legal move for solving equations. You may also take the same number from both sides. So we can take the same amount of x's from both sides. And now we're going to practice. We can also take the same number from both sides. So let's look at some examples. In this equation, I have 4x's plus a 5 is equal to 2x's plus 13. So I'm going to draw this out to make it easy. 4x's plus 5 is on the left hand of the equal sign. So let's draw my 4 unknowns. And I know there's a 5. On the right hand side, I have 2x's, 2 unknowns, and I know there's a 13. All right, so yesterday, let's practice that move. Yesterday we learned we can mark out or take away an x from both sides until I run out of them on one side, and I just ran out of variables on the right hand side. Now today we're going to practice our new move. We can take the same number from both sides. So let's look at our number. I've got the number 5 and I've got the number 13. It's the 5 that I want to take away. And the reason is that I know that I want to target that 5 is right here are my variables that are left. So my goal is I'm trying to get those alone. So if I can get rid of the 5, then those 2 x's are going to be alone. So let's mark out 5 here, and we're going to mark out 5 here, but when I take 5 away from 13, there's still something there. So I've got to draw a new box above it, and I think, what's 13 minus 5? Well, 13 minus 5 is 8. So now let's look at what's left. I'm left with 2 variables here. I know those 2 variables have to be equal to 8. Well, if 2x's is equal to 8, I would think, what is 8 divided by 2? 8 divided by 2 is 4. So I think right now that these x's are going to be worth 4. So I'm going to plug a 4 into each one of them. Notice I'm plugging in the 4 into the things that I also marked out. Okay? Now when doing your check, it is very important that you check what we call the first level of the equation. That means it's the part of the equation that you started with before you did any takeaways. So always look at this ground level, that first level. All right, right here I have 4 fours. 4 fours is a 16, and then I've got to add a 5 to it, and that gives me 21. Over here I have 2 fours, which is an 8. When I add 13 to that, 8 plus 3 is 11. Carry my 1, I get 21. So indeed, our answer is 4. And the check that verifies that the answer is 4 is 21 is equal to 21. All right, let's look at another example. Let's draw this one out. I have 2 x's, add another x, add another x. We just combined like terms. We combined all of those to show we have a total of 4 x's. Now we have the number 2. That's different. So I just draw my constant of 2. So that whole side there combines to be 4 x's and 2. All right, the right hand side, I have 2 x's and I have the constant of 10. All right, practicing yesterday's move, taking the same amount of x's from both sides, which is 2. Practicing today's new move. Find the side that still has x's. On this equation to the left, get rid of that number. So I'm going to get rid of the 2. Mark it out. On the right hand side, mark that one out and think, what is 10 take away 2? Because take away 2 is what I'm doing. and I get an 8. So I draw a new box with an 8 up there. Now I think I've got 2 x's here. I have an 8 here. Well, if 2x equals 8, I would think what is 8 divided by 2, and I get 4. 4 again. So let's check our 4. Plug a 4 into every unknown on the ground level. The original equation. Always check the original. All right, right here, 4 4s is 16, because 4 times 4 is 16. 16 plus the 2 right here gives me 18. Right here, 2 4s is 8. When I add that to this number, 8 plus 10 is 18. Notice when I check that side, I am not using that number that I did above because that's in the upper level. We don't check the upper level. Always the ground level, the beginning. All right, so it worked out. We got 18 equals 18. So my answer is 4. And the check that verifies I am correct is 18 equals 18. One more to look at. All right, drawing it out. Right here we have an x. We're going to add 3 more x's to it. That gives us a total of 4 x's and a 3. On this side, so I switch sides of my balance, I have an x and I have 18. All right, yesterday's move, take the same amount of x's on both sides, which is actually just 1 this time. Today's move, take the same number from both sides. So find the side that has x's. It's over here. Look at that number. It's a 3. Mark it out because we're going to take 3 away from both sides. So over here, I think, what's 18 minus 3? It's 15. All right. Now I look at what's left over. Right here we have 3 x's, 3 unknowns. Right here we have a 15. Now to solve this, I would think what number would it have to be? So I'd want to do 15 divided by 3 because there's 3 x's. 15 divided by 3 is 5. We think right now the answer is 5. Plug 5's into all the unknowns, including the ones you had taken away. And now let's check this ground level. Right here, 4 5's is 20. 20 plus that 3 gives us 23. Let's hope we get 23 on this side. This side we do 5 plus 18. Well, let me show you what that looks like. 8 plus 5 is 13. Carry my 1 up. I get 23. Good job. All right. Our x is 5. And our check that verifies we are correct is 23 is equal to 23. All right, let's review what you're going to do today. You're going to draw your equation. Practice yesterday's move first. Take the same amount of x's from both sides. Then add your new move. Take the same number from both sides. At that point, look at what you have left over, and you should be able to figure out what the answer is by taking the number you have here and dividing it by how many x's are left. Finally, remember today, when you do your check, check the original equation. That includes all the variables you have marked out, and use the numbers that are on the ground level. Do not try to use this one up here. That will cause you to struggle getting your check correct. All right, good luck. You have 10 questions to complete, and then you're done for the day.